All right, let's talk about something we all do every single day. We try to read people's minds. Today, we're diving into the big ideas from Nicholas Epley's fantastic book, Mindwise. We all like to think we have a kind of sixth sense for understanding others. But what if that sense is actually, well, wrong? Let's get into it.
So, the book kicks off with this really bold statement. And you know what? It feels true, doesn't it? From the second you wake up, you're trying to figure people out. What's my boss thinking? Is my partner mad at me? What did that text really mean? It's a skill we think is absolutely essential to getting by.
And right away, here's the twist. Epley just throws down the gauntlet and challenges that idea. We feel like we're psychic detectives, but the actual science, it tells the completely different story. So how good are we, really? Now look at this, because this is the absolute heart of the problem. Psychologists call it the confidence gap. On one hand, our confidence is through the roof. We're sure we know what's going on in someone else's head. But on the other hand, our actual accuracy? It's barely better than a coin flip, seriously. And that huge gap is where so many misunderstandings and conflicts in our lives come from.
So this overconfidence we all have, it's not just a feeling. It's a powerful and really convincing illusion. Let's break down why our so-called sixth sense gets it wrong so often. And this right here is one of the most mind-blowing findings in the book. It's called the illusion of intimacy. You'd think, logically, that we'd be best at reading the minds of our partners, our best friends, our family, right? Well, nope. Turns out we're only a tiny bit more accurate with them than we are with total strangers. How is that possible? Well, it's because we're so confident we know them inside and out that we stop asking and we start assuming. We just fill in the blanks ourselves, and that's where things go sideways.
So, what is the root cause of all these mistakes? I mean, why are we so bad at this? The answer is actually pretty simple and a little unsettling. We're all fundamentally trapped inside our own heads, and we're blinded by something called egocentrism.
Now, the word egocentrism sounds bad, right? Like you're selfish or arrogant. But that's not what it means here. It just means that our own personal experience is our brain's default setting. It's the only one we've ever known. As Epley says, every single one of us is at the center of our own universe. It's not a character flaw, it's just the way we're wired.
This egocentrism leads to what the book calls the lens problem. I love this analogy. Imagine you're wearing blue-tinted sunglasses and your friend is wearing yellow-tinted ones. You're both looking at the exact same white wall. You see blue, they see yellow. And you could argue all day about what color the wall is. Our beliefs, our memories, our knowledge, those are our lenses. And we constantly forget that everyone else is looking through a completely different pair.
Here's another perfect, everyday example of our brains being self-centered. It's called the spotlight effect. You know that feeling, right? You spill a little coffee on your shirt, and you're convinced that every single person you see is staring at the stain and judging you. That's the spotlight effect. The reality? Most people are so busy worrying about the spotlight on them that they barely notice you at all. There's a great line in the book, you will become way less concerned with what other people think of you when you realize how seldom they do.
Okay, so being trapped in our own heads isn't just some abstract idea. It has real-world consequences. It leads to very specific, very common mistakes in how we judge other people.
And one of the biggest mental shortcuts we take is called the correspondence bias. It works like this. We see someone do something, and we immediately assume their action corresponds directly to who they are as a person. So someone cuts you off in traffic. What's your first thought? What a jerk, right? You don't think, oh, maybe they're rushing to the hospital. We see the action, cutting us off, and we ignore the context. It happens all the time. A coworker misses a deadline, and we think lazy, not maybe they're dealing with a family crisis.
The book uses this really tragic and powerful real-world story to illustrate this. A man named Walter Vance had a heart attack and died while shopping on Black Friday. And for a while, people just walked right past him. The immediate conclusion, fueled by that correspondence bias, was that the other shoppers were just greedy, heartless people. But the reality was way more complicated. The situation was chaotic and confusing. People weren't sure what was happening. Their inaction wasn't necessarily coming from a place of malice, but from the confusing context of the situation.
Okay, so after all that, it's easy to feel a little hopeless, right? Like we're all just doomed to misunderstand each other. But here's the really good news. There is a fix, and it's surprisingly simple.
This is it. This is the million-dollar question. If our own brain is the problem, if guessing is so unreliable, what do we do instead? How do we actually escape our own perspective?
And the answer is right here. This is the most important idea in the whole book. We're often told to practice perspective taking, right? Put yourself in their shoes. But Epley shows this usually doesn't work. Why? Because when you imagine being someone else, you're still using your brain, your biases, your lens to do the imagining. So instead, he suggests something much better: perspective getting. In short, stop guessing and start asking.
So how do we do this in real life? It's actually pretty straightforward. Step 1 is just a little humility. Just admit to yourself, hey, my first guess about this person might be totally wrong. Step 2 is to get curious. Instead of trying to read their mind, just ask them, hey, what are you thinking about that? Or how did that make you feel? And then step 3, maybe the most important part, actually listen to the answer and maybe even confirm it. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you feel it's about having a real conversation, not a one-person psychic show.
And really, it all just boils down to this simple, powerful idea. It's the most direct, the most respectful, and by far the most accurate way to understand someone. If you want to know what's on their mind, let them be the one to tell you.
You know, Epley ends with this beautiful quote from Marcel Proust, and it just perfectly sums up this whole journey. The real adventure isn't about seeing new places, it's about being able to see the same world we all live in, but through someone else's eyes. And perspective getting is the only way to do that.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. Just think for a second. Your partner, your kids, a coworker, a friend. Who is that person in your life that you've been assuming you understand? Who could you build a stronger, more honest connection with just by stopping the guessing game and starting a conversation?